We're back.
Become my soul reaver.
Okay. Welcome in, everybody. So, we left off. We had climbed all of Archdragon. And we found the Archdragon at the peak. And I was about to leave, and Bane was like, there's a boss here that you haven't dealt with. So I'm like, welcome in, Bane. Appreciate being here. We are going a little early like we did on Monday, but the reason of that is, like, we either start early or we don't stream. Oh boy. Thank you, Ben. It's raining. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Nothing will remain once the bell has tolled. Let's say toiled or told? Told. That is the correct phrasing. That's not true, that fat bitch is still there. That's a big fog wall. Oh, Snake Man is still there. I get the feeling I was lied to. Alright, now I've just got to find my way over there. Who'd have thought storm clouds would make a castle so dark? Those things are still there. There's more here than I expected there to be, given that it said, like, nothing will remain after you toll the bell. I've walked up that. Wow. Just skip the whole thing. Yeah, they're still there. Probably should have just used the bonfire to get to the other bonfire, the one that's near the gate. That gate's probably where I'm after. Or that ladder. If I never have to see another snake man in my life, I'll be probably happy. There's the fog a little bit. Alright, let's try the ladder. Probably like the biggest fog wall I've ever seen. Nope, still closed. How do I get in? Okay, who did you summon? Oh, just this guy again. Not overly interested in this fight. This is probably really simple and I'm probably being really stupid. And on the other way. This makes me uncomfortable. This makes me more uncomfortable. Hello. Riders of the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Riders of the storm. don't know how I dodged that. You know, I feel like my biggest enemy isn't the camera, it's not knowing where the ground ends. God damn it, get your head back here. Come on. Bring me your head. Alright, phase 2. Come on, give me the guy. Give me the guy. See, sometimes I am good at games. I didn't expect this to become a Dragon Ball Z thing. Alright, Ornstein. The Nameless King? I'm sorry. I thought this guy was DLC. That's not good. Yep. Well, watch me die on this part. Because I just have to be different. Knew it was coming. Man, if I had gotten that first try, that would have been like peak mecha-chrono skills. Would have been amazing. Ah. Alright. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, riders of the storm. I think coming from dealing with the dragons already, and it was like, okay, hitting the leg isn't doing much, but the dragons were weak to the head. I think that really helped. Thanks, Kit. I'm gonna blame the Kit for that one. What, how much do I have in the way of, like, soul items? If I burn these, am I going to be able to level up? Yeah. Alright, let's get rid of these souls. I don't like having these souls here. There's also lightning, which I'm historically not great against. Historically great against lightning. Alright, what do you want?
Very then take
49... 25.
fair.
Perfect.
Welcomes. Very then taken. Farewell, Ashen One.
Goodbye. Pray for me. Is it worth reconsidering my armor, I wonder? What do I have that's good with lightning? Wearing a hood is better against lightning than what I have. I guess it makes a kind of sense because I'm wearing metal. Yeah, so the best thing is this Archdeacon White Crown. Which, like, I'm not walking into there wearing basically no armor. Fuck it, I've come this far like this. Paying basically no attention to my armor for almost the entire game and just brute forcing everything. It's the mecha-chrono way. Well, that was awful. The camera really did feel like an issue there. Like, it felt like a minor thing in the previous rounds. That time, the camera did feel like an issue. It's gonna take me ages to get back down to the second phase again, isn't it? Alright, come in that time. So, I've got to predict that going up in the air is going to lead to that flame burst. If it had done that on my first try, I definitely would have died. Yep. Basically claw gripping my controller so that I can sprint and turn the camera. Alright, down. Yeah. Alright. You come to me. Thanks, Kit. Misread that situation. Hey, Bug. Honestly, like, once you get past the wall of getting into Dark Souls can be a lot of fun. I would probably recommend this Dark Souls above 1 and 2, but I think you get the most enjoyment out of this playing the first one first. And I know I've got friends who have played them and say they can't go back to 1 after 3 because of how much slower it is. I was going to look into the Ocarina of Time trailer just to see what I thought about it, but I heard that it was just a teaser trailer. So it was like, that's probably not going to show anything of interest. Probably not going to be able to determine if they've changed anything from it. Yeah, I think I just went to bed. Well, they don't have to show anything, do they? They just have to say Ocarina of Time remake and people will buy it. All I've seen about it is people hyped. People saying it's their reason to buy a Switch 2. And it's like, good for them. Good for them. here I am playing a 10-year-old game though, and like, you know, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I'm okay with that. It will boost Switch sales, but actually having games for the Switch 2 will boost Switch sales. Because like, you look at the Switch 2's lineup, and it seems like it's pretty much entirely ports and Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games. Like, the Switch 2 needs its own games. And it's like I said yesterday, like, if the Switch 2 within a year manages to put, like, within 2 years, puts out if the Switch 2 within 2 years puts out enough exclusives to justify its existence, then it'll already have the PS5 beaten. I don't think you can predict how much they'll charge for it. I would assume probably $70. But Nintendo does what they want. Nope, didn't expect a third blow to that combo. Damn it. Nintendo have gotten away. Nintendo have gotten away with charging whatever they want for whatever. Like, the fact that Breath of the Wild is still sold. Like, it's not even for $70, £70, which is more. And, like, it's, what, 8, 9 years old at this point? And it still holds its physical value too. And Nintendo can sell for whatever they want. Yep. Hey, Zeke. Star Fox is going for 40. But yeah, like they could do whatever. They're not consistent with their pricing strategies. Zelda being more popular, yeah, they could absolutely feel like they'll get away. It's not over. That's phase 1, and I've beaten phase 1 twice so far. Fucking Christ. Yeah, like, as far as pricing go, like, especially in regards to, like, Grand Theft Auto 6, there's still the rumors that Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna be, like, $100 to justify its development costs. Which, like, if it's true and it is $100 at launch, that'll be insane. But it also means you will not be able to escape it. They'll be advertising that everywhere. The marketing budget will be through the roof to get more people to buy it. What is normal pricing nowadays? You've got some publishers who are trying to charge 70. You've got other publishers who are like, yeah, 50 is going to just remain the standard because people will buy it. Like, the push for higher game prices didn't really happen the way publishers wanted it to. It's still there, but it's inconsistent. But then there was the rumors that were going around early on that other publishers were waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6 to launch, so they could see what price that Rockstar was charging for that. And then start pricing their games at that price because players will buy it. That's a new attack. Of course, the difference there is just because players will pay $100 for Grand Theft Auto 6, possibly the most anticipated game of all time, because people are just ridiculous on Grand Theft Auto, does not mean they'll pay that for anything else. I mean, that is going to be the effect. games are really a luxury item, whether people want to admit it or not. And the more expensive they get, the less games a single person can afford. It's already something of an issue when game publishers decide that all of their games need to be 100-hour epics. Like with Ubisoft, when they decided to make Assassin's Creed into like these long RPG experiences. It's like cool, whenever a developer and publisher is doing that, you're going to spend less on them, because gamers don't want a huge backlog of games that they haven't finished. But there's also like the knock-on effects of gamers who do have this backlog of games they haven't finished. Yeah, that happened. Gamers who do have this backlog of games that they haven't finished have the perfect reason to not be going out and buying more. And eventually, the price of games, if it keeps increasing, will be at that point where it's like, okay, it's now not worth it for me in any sense to go out and purchase a new game when I have this backlog of games that I was interested in and just haven't played. Oh, fuck off, I dodged that. You don't get to let me have the dodge and then do damage anyway? Well, I mean, that's kind of always been the case. I mean, real quick, let's take a look real quick at the PlayStation Store. Days of Play sale, let's go, let's take a look. And let's see what the first 5 games are. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And how quickly do we get to just garbage? You could probably argue Battlefield, maybe. Depends on what you're after. NBA is gambling mechanics at this point. Oh, 2K26, it's 85% off. The next one isn't out yet. I wonder why it's 85% off. Marathon has had a lot of issues, I'm aware of that. I think it's under Sparta, got mixed reviews. Been hearing criticism of Dispatch of being like just a game you watch. Cyberpunk's not bad, Baldur's Gate, yeah. Forza, Ubisoft, trash. Tekken 8, which even if you like fighting games at this point, season passes are just so much of that. The Sims 4. Ugh. And like it just builds and builds, and season passes, like here, season passes, more of the issue. Oh, is this season pass 2? Like full game, $70 plus DLC. Monster Hunter Wilds game plus DLCs, deluxe editions. Mortal Kombat plus DLCs. Definitive Edition upgrade plus microtransactions. Oh, PS1 game. Yeah, we'll get that. Oh, it's already installed? Excellent. Let's play this. Career mode needs an active server. Bug, this may be a controversial statement to you, but I think Borderlands is one of the most overrated franchises in video game history. People kind of are like, you talk about like games on current gen on sale and everything. People kind of like go like, Jesus Christ, when they see how big my library is. But it's always a thing of like, I bought like 95% of this on sale. Very little of this I bought for more than £20. Uh-oh. Did I do it fast enough? Yes. Man, Ben was right. The camera is really not good for this. It's definitely a thing with indie games as well. Like, you talk about the pricing of the modern games going up, and it's mostly AAA. Indie games playing it smart and remaining at reasonable prices definitely makes them more accessible for the regular player. Like, a lot of people may look at an indie game and be like, maybe I'll pick this up because it looks interesting and it's also like $20. Again, dodged it, still take a hit. Really don't like that. Thanks, Kick. I think the problem indie developers face isn't pricing, it's oversaturation. No, I've not gotten Lego Batman yet. I'm gonna wait for it to drop in price because I have so many games I can wait for stuff to drop in price. But like, as far as indie games go, like, go on to, say, Steam, where you can just search by the indie tag, and see how many indie games are there that you've never heard of. And how many of them, compared to how many you have heard of. And it's an oversaturated market where you need the attention. you need the attention, really, and you hope to be lucky enough to get any of the attention that can get you a reasonable number of sales. The profit margin is often lower because less money is spent on making the game, so they don't have to sell a huge amount. But getting there is the real issue in a sea of everything. And like, there's plenty of indie games that are well regarded and treated as like better than a lot of AAA games, and those will be the ones you've heard of, like the big names, Stardew Valley, Undertale. Minecraft, of course, that went on to be like mega popular and made their creators so much more money than anybody could have ever expected. Yeah, pretty much. Among Us, I think Among Us is one of the interesting cases to look at, in that Among Us had been out for like 2 years, I think. Among Us had been out for like 2 years and hadn't really done a whole lot in terms of like sales or popularity. And then it got lucky during the pandemic, being a game that suddenly everybody started playing and everybody purchased. But it had been out for like 2 years. I mean, a good indie game doesn't have to be anything special. It can be average. You just need to catch somebody's attention in an interesting way, which is the value indie games really have. Among Us, like I said, Among Us... Among Us got lucky. But my point with that, the point I highlight with it, is that they've been out for like 2 years. They've been out for like 2 years. It was a point where you would have considered the game to have done like everything it was going to do. Amazing. Like, whether Among Us is good or bad, whether you like it or not, is not the point. It'd been out for like 2 years or so, and then it blew up during the pandemic because a popular Twitch streamer found it and latched onto it. And it was like, this looks kind of fun. It's a simple idea that was executed well enough, and then it blew up. But that amount of time, you would expect you've done all the big sales you're going to do. Maybe you'll get a couple more here or there. And they got incredibly lucky with it. But the fact that basically nobody knew what Among Us was before it blew up is a good example of what I mean by the market is oversaturated. And indie developers have to be incredibly lucky to get anywhere with it. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, seeing how many people a Twitch streamer gets to. It's the cheapest marketing you can do because it's such a wide berth with one focal point. And like, let's look on Twitch real quick. Front page, because you know, just the garbage. What do we got? Some guy with a tick on his name playing a game called Burgling Gnomes. 700 viewers. We want the big numbers. We want where they have to say. World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Craft. Forget about Minecraft. Like 6K. And like having one person there. And just like that birthday, because you can hit so many people just in a single row. It's probably one of the cheapest ways a publisher or developer can get a game out there. It's like if I was streaming regularly to 1,000+ people, and developer came up and said, "Here's £500 to play my game for the length of one stream, like 3, 4, 5 hours maybe." That's easy money, and yeah, I'll do it. Of course I'd fucking do it. Easy money. To say with your bigger streamers, you say like, "Oh, £2,000, play this for 4 hours." Good game doesn't need big streamers to get paid from devs, yes. But again, you run into the problem of how much is out there. And so, like, you throw a bit of money to someone's direction, say, "Play this," and it gets their attention, and you're playing it because you're being paid to, and there's eyes on that game then, instead of it just disappearing into a sea of everything. And like, there's a point to look at of how many games are released on Steam every day, and the number is absurd. And so again, you're running into the oversaturation. If you don't have the big marketing budget, something small and cheap like that can easily get a lot more eyes on it. Because every now and then you see one of these games that just kind of blows up out of nowhere, that is just kind of a weird idea. That blows up because somebody on Twitch played it, or in the older days YouTube. Like, it's how Five Nights at Freddy's blew up, it's how Phasmophobia blew up, it's how Lethal Company blew up. And it may be a case of, like, some of these games only need, like, maybe 20,000 sales to make a profit. And you've got that, and it snowballs, and people are selling word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. And then you've made your money. And it can keep on going. So, like, you don't even need a full marketing budget with a lot of these streamers. Because they'll do it for you. You just pay them the money, they've got the crowd already. And it's been there for a while, like, it's streamers now. But it was popular YouTubers previously. And if you go back far enough, you can find the controversies that used to happen. Of like, oh yeah, this is actually paid promotion, but it's completely undisclosed that it's paid promotion. Because things were just that shady, but it was all so unregulated. Like, it's not a bad thing for, like, a small company to do that. To throw, like, a bit of money into a bit of quick, cheap viral marketing. And get some eyes on their product. Because it can be good, it can give you something new that you're interested in. I wish there was a lot more variety in what that kind of thing would end up being. It's always multiplayer stuff. And it's like, you can have the most interesting multiplayer game ever created. The trouble on my end is, I then need people to play it with. And I don't like playing with randoms. So I need my friends to play it. And then you need, even if the friends all buy it, you need to organise everybody for it in half the times. And that's difficult. But yeah, as far as like the actual games themselves go, like, it is a very dog-eat-dog industry. And you get your 15 minutes of fame if you're lucky, and then things move on. Nobody cares anymore. But I've got no issue with like smaller companies throwing a bit of cash to a streamer, saying like, hey, can you play this for a few hours to your audience? I think the main thing of that should always be that the streamer should be like absolutely disclosing it. If they're not, that's an issue, because it is paid promotion. Well, aside from that, I don't think it's a bad thing. Alright, if I don't beat this boss by the time we hit the ad break, we're gonna leave and go to the Painted World of Ariandel, just so that this entire stream isn't just me banging my head against this, so that we're doing something else. Because otherwise, I will just keep doing this. Like, if I wasn't streaming this, I'd be going at this until it's done. Aim was right, the camera for this is absolute shit. fucking Christ. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that I'm actually using the shield I have with the best lightning resistance. Given the trouble I seem to be having dodging him, I should be more using my shield. What about the grass crest shield? How bad's the defense on the grass crest shield? Way worse. Alright. Hey, Spunk. I didn't like the snake, man. 0 damage there. 0 damage on phase 1. Thank you.
Success!
Yeah. It only took like an hour. You know what? That was actually a good run. I'm glad that's the run I won on. Don't like that sloppy Grundy run that I won on. Wonderful. Finished Elden Ring? Nice. And now with that done, I think we're free to start up the Painted World. I hope it's less horrible than the Painted World of Ariamus.
Welcome home. Very well then taken. Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels. Farewell, Ashmace.
Ashen One.
You have anything interesting to give me for this soul?
Aha, thou return. So,
Lightning Storm. Storm Curved Sword. Those are pretty low requirements. Increase vitality,
I
but
took the
take
mantle
more damage.
Of Lord of Cinder of...
I think the boss was interesting. I think the camera issues are definitely an issue. A two-phase boss
So
that is two separate
I
bosses.
took the mantle, choose thy fate all the more, should thy fate in...
Doesn't leave a whole lot of room for mistakes, though, in its second phase. Very nasty. So, we'll have to run this out now. We have less than 3 minutes for it. But we'll run it, then we'll explore this last area of Archdragon Peak, and then we'll head to the Painted World of Ariandel. And we're back. Alright. This is a pretty large area. Hope the goodies up here are worth it. Oh, there's nothing over here. Ornstein equipment. And there's practically nothing here. For how big this area is. Oh, another cyanide slab. How you doing, Nelson?
Would it help if I talked quietly like this as we just casually proceed along the courtyard of the Archdragon Peak? We've defeated the Nameless King and are currently examining the area for spoils of battle.
The cyanide slab definitely has its uses. I don't want to do this. Oh, it's an erotic stream. Hmm. Yeah, might as well use the slab on the shield. I don't think there's anything else I'll want to use it on.
Ah, just wasn't he?
Right, Wednesday? Excellent. Great sword, ultra great sword. There's good scaling there. Alright, upgrade the shield for the last step. That's curious. Because getting the trophy for that suggests that I haven't fully upgraded my sword. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a secondary weapon. Just in case.
Pretty be careful. I don't.
Let's see what I like the attack of. Not bad. Mm-hmm. What's the halberd attack like in there? Seems like it's the same as Dark Souls 1. Bigger swing. Requires 50 strength to use, but it also has a scaling with strength. Like, by the time you can use this, the scaling alone is probably going to make it the most damaging thing you've got. This doesn't look like a great sword. This looks like a regular sword.
Ah, just wasn't it? Pretty be careful. I don't.
Okay. Probably a decent secondary. Put everything else in the box, I guess. Here we go, back to the painted world to actually explore. Alright, so let's double check what this message says. Only the mighty may proceed. I feel like if we're not there now, we're never going to be. Should face the depths of Lotheric Castle. That's saying we're not ready. Hmm. Well, I guess we're leaving it for the minute. Right. Now we have to figure out how we're getting past these two dragons. I don't think that's gonna work. I could drop down there. Is there a space to drop from the bridge? I could just run straight off the side, yeah. Alright, well, we're somewhere new. That guy wants to fight, he can come up here and fight me. Who's throwing fire at me? Maybe I should sell a bunch of the stuff I have to sell. Gonna make this works. Well, who's still standing? Not you. I haven't got anything. Odd. Hmm. Anyway. You know, I'm still standing better than I ever did. Is there a switch that tells dragons to go away? Hello. Haven't seen one of you in a long time. A rapier. Is that also ice-based? You know, I could really see the value of a weapon that focuses on breaking through shields. So I don't have to rely on the kick that never fucking works. I didn't even notice this other chest. Alright, one of you is going to be a mimic. Two of you might be mimics. I'm so suspicious. Well, yeah, this area was guarded by an Outrider Knight. But also, like, I have absolutely run into rooms guarded by some nasty shit. And they've had one chest in there, and that chest has been attacked. What is all that noise? Alright, be that way. We'll go the other way. Much better. Not a chance, pal. Better. This isn't going to lead me anywhere either, though. This is going to take me back in a circle. I know it. Fucking mind. What's your plan? That's exactly where I expected to end up. Hello? You seem like a large fellow. I'm sorry, was it something I said? Was it perhaps about how you're a fat bitch? That does lead up to where I was, so we have just gone round in the circle. So I guess the goal is going to end up being to dash up. Hmm. Gotcha. That's how you do it. You know what? I'll be right up. I need to buy more fire bombs. Yes. Huh. Yes. And there's no game audio coming. Looking at where it is, it doesn't look like it's that far behind. Be a couple of minutes, most. Hmm. It's odd, like, not just the screen, but the audio capture stopped. That's interesting. Now I'm getting no audio. There we go. So it stopped when I was over here looking at it. I don't know how far back it was, whether it was the first time I went through here or the second time. Didn't really miss anything though, so that's good. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I have a Firestone plate ring? No. It's also really not going to be a good place to get my souls back. Ah. Well, that was worth the effort. Well, now I have to go around this way, so... Because those souls are probably going to be right where the fire is. Well, I was going to live and let live, but, you know... Clearly that's a mistake. What do you mean? Could be a little earlier. No, I think given how long I was there, it's definitely gonna end up being where the fire is active. Like, we'll take a look when we go back up there before we dive in. Because it's a lot of souls and I would like them back. Perfect. Yeah, it's further up, because otherwise we'd see it here. Right in the corner. And it's like 40,000 souls. Storage required ahead. You know what? I should actually remember. There's a guy over here and I should go and kill him. It was stupid of me to forget. There's no way we end up doing enough damage with this. I do know where I want to go, though. And I think it will be possible. How much do I need?
Welcome. Then take. Farewell, I may. Welcome. Then take.
Let these souls withdraw from their vessels.
Farewell, Ashen One.
Alright, let's go do this. I'm pretty sure I know the pathway I want. Let's see if this works. I knew as soon as I decided not to finish off the guy with the halberd that I'd made a mistake. Like, what's been the prime rule of this entire experience? One at a time. go kill this guy. Kick him off. Well, his body can serve as a warning to others then. There. Well, I'm in. Interesting. These guys seem like regular hollows. What a fucking god. Hmm. Interesting. Did you guys fall down? Probably not the healthiest thing to be growing out the dragon's foot. I wonder if that's a hint. Does this open the gate? It does, so that's a good thing. Alright, let's see what we get with this blob thing. That dead now? Oh, there's one spawning at the back of that one as well. Oh. There's more going on with these things than I realised. Suggest that they're not actually dragons at all, they're zombies maybe? Zombie dragon foots instead of zombie dragon butts. It doesn't really exist. Alright. Let's keep going over this direction. That was weird timing for that to happen. Nope, do not need that while I'm dealing with these guys. People sleeping in here. Eh, not that interesting of a prize. This is why you need to have shields. Who's blessing these guys? Someone's doing it. Alright, so I get up there, kill the other one, and then the way is clear from the bonfire. And that's good progress. Hmm. An elevator. Fog wall. Where's this going to take me? Oh. Good to know. Well, before I go for that. Yep. That's interesting. Doesn't look like there's a clean way down there. There have been so many Titanite items that I've been finding. The hell is this? Hmm. Increases strength by 5. This boost dex by 3. So the Knight's Ring is probably an like a valuable trader. Especially because my sword scales better with strength than dex. Oh. Okay. Welcome in, Clem. So what's the pathway in here that's actually intended? It was jumping down like that. Okay. How you doing, Clem? What's school? Did you learn anything? Gotcha. Well, the camera wasn't so bad there. I knew exactly what I was aiming at, and I made sure to keep it in front of me. If you'd been here earlier for the Nameless King fight, first phase of that, the camera was the enemy. Did I not open that? Did I even see that? Matters of the storm. But now I have opened the way from the bonfire. There, which is nice. No running around in a circle. I can just go straight over the bridge. Once again, I have conquered the enemy. I'm doing this with the assumption they'll stay dead. We'll find out if I'm right after the break. We're back.
The unenlightened masses, they cannot make the judgment call. Give up free will forever, their voices won't be heard at all.
Welcome, host. Speak. Very well, then take.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity, elucidated by
Yeah, might as well level up Dex a little bit now, since I removed the
Farewell,
ring that was
Ashen
boosting my
Ones.
Dex. Alright, let's go back and fight that boss that Clem said would be fine, after I burn this undead bone shard that I remember that I got. I hope those dragons stay dead. We'll find out. Right now, because you should be able to see them there if they're alive. I've cleared the bridge. Good work, me. Have a sound alert. Excellent. You. Oh dear. All right. It's the same trouble as always, aggroing more than one. I wanted to take out the guy that was doing the blessing and ended up aggroing the guy at the top of the stairs. And the real trouble in this situation is the guy with the big shield. The great shield. I think it's an okay shield, but they call it a great shield. That was a lot of health. Climshade? That does not do as much damage as I would like for how much stamina and effort it takes. Alright, back to the old tried and true. I've had no deaths, I think, from any of the shades. Hello. Boom. Need a shrug emote. I will be offended by that. Maybe it's just the way I approach. Fuck off, you man. Maybe it's the way I approach them. Like, Shades is like, okay, this is a dangerous enemy. I need to be at, like, my maximum wariness. And with regular enemies, like, this is a regular enemy. I've dealt with these before. I should be fine. And then things go wrong. Outside of opening chests and killing mimics and just getting Titanite for it. There's the fire one. I mean, the idea of boosting attacks when you have low HP is it's a nice idea, but we're definitely at the point in the game now where enemies can take you from, like, half health to death. It's unlikely you will be at low health. You will be at less than full health, and then you'll be dead. Alright. Here we go. That's the trouble. His friend. My real concern with this fight is, like, what's phase 2? Because this seems simple. Like, what's phase 2? Because that seemed too simple. And if it was just the wing thing, one of those motherfuckers shooting lasers at me, then fine. I can deal with that. Listen, you little shit. I think one thing that could be interesting to be comparing how many bosses I have died against while still having Estus versus bosses that I've died with empty, like with no Estus left. I don't need to fight that guy. It does leave me curious about what these things actually are, though. Because up close, it looks like it could be like the nervous system of a dragon. Well, it says Dragon Slayer armor. It's probably the same armor as Ornstein. Which would make it the third boss in the third Souls game wearing that armor. Nah, I don't like it. Later, bitches. Ah. No, that's not the same armor as Ornstein. It's similar, but like, it's not Lion. don't think in Dark Souls 2 it's supposed to be Ornstein, just somebody who was also a Dragon Slayer. What about you? Yeah, the last Dragon Slayer who... Dude, you still want to go? Because I will kill you. Yeah, you could raise the question of whether or not anything in Anor Londo in the original is real beyond... Like, I think the Silver Knights still remain, if you dispel the illusion. But it does raise the question of whether Ornstein or Smo were real. What do you like, then? One of them is real. That's interesting, especially because, like, they both take power from the other.
Welcome home, I speak. Very well. Then take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Let these souls withdraw from their vessels. Manifestations of
Yeah, I think the thing with Dark Souls has really always been
deep within you, retreating.
that so much of it is just open to interpretation.
Farewell.
So much of it isn't directly stated. It doesn't really matter.
Ah.
Cannot be burned. Left Anor Londo to find the Nameless King.
Ashen 1.
Which would explain why we found it in... Yeah. Why we found it in Archdragon Peak. I don't know, Clem. Like, sooner or later, everything in this dies. Yeah, my answer to all of that is basically like, whatever really interests you and keeps you going, as long as it doesn't hurt others, is what's important. Where's that damn Titanite? This is interesting though, like, a king standing proud, and presumably a queen a little more reserved. Have you ever seen a bonfire within sight of another bonfire? Well, that's the thing with Dark Souls 1, isn't it? The idea that the entire quest for a chosen undead is entirely fake, concocted by the gods, in particularly Gwendolyn, to get a successor to Gwyn to link the First Flame, and you're not a prophesized chosen undead, you're just the one who happened to make it. So the illusion feeds into Gwendolyn's entire scheme. Alright. Coming up there, and I'm gonna fucking hurt you when I do. Where are you, man? Excuse me, have any of you guys seen a crystal sage? Like, yay high, has a big hat. You fucking ignore me. Look at that more closely in a minute. Don't want to devote my attentions to anything while that guy's still around. Please, Titanite. Alright, you know what? Come on. Hate these guys with their big fucking shields. Alright, so I'll go down there when I find my way up there. Actually, I'm a weapon or an item? Weapon. I would like it if I didn't have to worry about crystals for a while, though. By a while, I mean like the rest of the game. What is this? No, no, I don't think I will. Feels like a stupid idea. Okay. So it's not the light they don't like, it's just me. That sound. Is that what the wax is about? Some sort of horrible sound I need to block out? Yeah, that's not good. Maybe don't go near the bookshelves. That was odd. I had to get remarkably close to target that guy as an enemy. Shortcut. I still never found that crystal sage. Well, it's still around though. There you are, you son of a bit. Can I get to you from here? I think I can. Okay, so those books aren't just a problem in the darkness, got it. I throw in wax? Okay, something happened there. Something that I'm going to have to understand. Okay, covered in wax, what's it doing? Currently nothing, but it is fading away, so that's something. Gotcha. Bye-bye. This wax is definitely a concern. books are an issue. There's another place I can cover myself in wax. Weird. Really disconcerting. Who's leaving books on the floor? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thrown at the top of the archives is a curious choice. And there's nothing up here. Alright, before we go across that bridge, pretty sure there was a really obvious illusory wall. Listen. Stop it. Oh, I don't like the looks of this. Is that another Outrider Knight? I think it is. Nice. Head covered in wax. Alright, but how good is this Outrider stuff? Not very good at all. It is better for Frost, which, you know, if it was going to be better for anything, you would think it would be Frost. I'm still using, like, regular knight gauntlets and legs, aren't I? No, it is worse. Oh well. We're way behind these bookshelves. Looks like there's a lot of space there. No? Alright. I'm glad that fight did not go on long enough to knock me into one of these walls. Anyway. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Riders of the storm. Why would I want to be on top of the boat? This is a good shortcut. It is, I am basically back at the beginning. Alright. A lot of souls. Might as well spend them. Hello.
Welcome home, Ashen. Speak very well. Then taken.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestations of disparity.
Farewell, Ashley.
You have enough to just use 2 more of these big ones.
Welcome. Very then taken.
Yep.
Farewell,
Thank
Ashen.
you. Do I have enough for the 7 hit? We do. You can do the 7 hit combo. Amazing. I think also of like definite value to consider is how I can now do the 6-hit combo and then dodge. Good work, Clem. Proud of you. Now your feet will be warm in these summer months. It's a weight thing, it hardens. Shit. And their heads are covered in wax, and there's a candle on top. Listen, pal. Well, if you want to do foot streams, that's your thing. Don't let anybody stop you. Yep. Nasty trap. I don't want to cover myself in wax. I think it wouldn't be healthy. Would like to fight somebody to the death on one of these rooftops, though. Oh, hello. What are you doing out here? Are you allowed out of the depths? You know, I don't think I want to know the wax. Seriously, what the hell was a gargoyle monster doing this far out of the profane capital? Well, apparently he didn't go alone. I wonder if that was his wife. That is true. Does leave me wondering, though. There's a lot of them. And the other one fell down like a stupid bitch. Does make me feel like this is leading somewhere, though. Maybe there. And look how high we are. We're almost at the top. Yep, same as every other monster in Dark Souls with wings. Funny, you'd think at some point they'd code something that would be like, okay, so you've fallen off before you hit the death barrier. Like, just spread the wings, shoot up back onto the nearest platform. It would make sense. To this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Riders of the storm. I think this place has probably had more shortcuts than any other area. That's going to be a boss fight. Listen, I'm already annoyed enough at you guys for using fire axes. Fuck off. Enjoying the view? You just cover that in crystal? What an odd choice. It goes even higher because of course it does. Yeah, that's a boss. I'm a simple man, I've never used crystal weapons. I just, like, straight reinforce stuff. And then I'm like, this does big damage, and I'm... One. Guess who I'm killing next? Oh no! The parry timing on that dagger is absurd. I definitely don't want to be dealing with both of them. Did you not buy the... I assume you didn't buy the repair box by that point, then? Alright, you know what? In fact, you know what? You don't have a shield. You wanna parry me all that time? Fucking asshole. You and me now, pal. I got a shield I never looked at earlier. It was another crest shield. Highest magic absorption. Parry spells, jeez. And the shield of one. I can definitely see the value of that. Reduces lightning damage. God, I could have used that so much earlier. I question the purpose of parrying spells, though, of all things, because spells don't tend to be cast close enough to you to allow you to follow up on it. Like, you're probably better off dodging and then hitting if you're close enough to parry a spell into a riposte. You know what I mean? When the fuck was I streaming Master Quest?
Welcome home, Ashen. Speak. Very well. Then taken.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels.
Farewell, Ashen. Mace that.
Oh, seriously, like, I've not streamed Master Quest. Why is that labeled as Master Quest? Well, I think we're going to call it here for today. We've made good progress. Yeah, I don't enjoy Master Quest. I don't recall ever streaming it. I think conceptually it's interesting to have a remixed version of Ocarina of Time. It must have been accidentally. Like, conceptually I think it's interesting to have a remix of Ocarina of Time. In practice, I think the dungeons are just way less fun. Way less enjoyable. And it's like, you know what? I do really enjoy Ocarina of Time. I don't enjoy Ocarina of Time enough to do the entire game again completely normal, except the dungeons are worse. For one, the dungeons aren't a big enough part of the game for that. Like, the only thing that's different is the dungeons. Not enough. They'd have to be like the best dungeons in the series, and they're not. Oh, the Spirit Temple's so much more fun when you have to keep going back and forth as child and adult Link. Like, it's not. Really not. But yeah, we're gonna call it here today. 3.5 hours does end up being like one of our shorter Dark Souls 3 sessions. But we've made good progress, again. We've really just done Lotheric Castle. Like, the first hour or so was spent fighting the Nameless King. The Rider of the Storm. And then the rest of it was Lotheric Castle, and it doesn't feel like we've actually gotten that much higher. 2 bonfires we've done. But given that we've unlocked that shortcut now, we go all the way to the top. That is progress. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big express thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat's always the best part of the stream. Clem, Bane, Teak was here. Bug, Nelson, and Spunk. So much joining me in Game Company. Chat is always the best part of the stream. I believe the next stream will be on Sunday now, which will be The Legend of Sundays, where we'll be playing Ocarina of Time. We will be doing the Ship of Harkinian decompilation, recompilation port. Teak is back. Goodbye, Teak. Check out Teak. Teak streams. He's doing... Today's Wednesday, so he'll be doing his Wednesdays. Which... I think he's still doing Orcs Must Die. He's on, like, Orcs Must Die 17. Yeah, Orcs Must Die, there you go. Might do Pokemon. He's also been doing that new Pokemon game, Pokemon Champions, I think it is. Check Teak out. And it's twitch.tv/TeakTheGamer. Where Teak has very nice stream setups and plenty of things for you. I was thinking, like, oh, Orcs Must Die 17. And I was thinking, like, what kind of franchise gets to 17? And then I was like, we're one Final Fantasy away from 17. But then, like, there's the spin-offs, and... they just announced Final Fantasy Resonance. And it's like... there are basically like whatever number of Final Fantasies you want now. It's like, what does the number of a Final Fantasy mean? It's like, oh, it's supposed to be the prestige title, the main title, the best of Final Fantasies. And I thought about it a little more, and it's like, but it's really not. Well, really what I'm thinking, Seek, is like when you just keep calling something by a number. Like, Zelda had one number, and it was 2. I feel like you hit a certain point, you might as well just stop numbering things. Because there's a point, I think, where numbers feel like they're more of a detriment, maybe, than anything. They feel cheaper. Like, Square puts a certain amount of prestige on numbered Final Fantasies. But it gets back to that topic we talk about every now and then of, like, the last Final Fantasy, the last numbered Final Fantasy that wasn't controversial in some aspect. Probably 10. And the last one people can generally agree on was a really good game. Yeah, I think subtitles might be better. Like, Final Fantasy Resonance isn't a bad thing, and if they call, like... If they didn't call something 17, Final Fantasy 17, and they were just like Final Fantasy... Crystal Titties. Resident Evil 7 is the legal title. I think it is. I think it is still like Resident Evil 7... Biohazard with a lowercase b. But Village and Requiem are definitely just presented as Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil Requiem. And the numbers are suggested somewhere in there. Again, because the idea of the main series feels like a prestige thing, which it shouldn't after Resident Evil 6. Village didn't get an 8, but they put the 8 in the VILL as a hint, like the same way they did with RE7, but it didn't feel as fun the second time they did it. And then Requiem suggests that the Q is a 9, which... it's an implied 8. But if I pull out the box, it will say on the back of the box that it's the 8th main title in the series. Which itself is a lie. Anyway, we're rambling. We're going to come up to the ad. Yeah. Next stream, Sunday, Ocarina of Time. Ship of Arcinian. We're not going to be running with any mods. We're going to be running Ship of Arcinian as it comes, with quality of life attached. Which I'm probably going to point out like what the quality of life things I've put on it are. But they're there in the menus. It's really good setup. And then Dark Souls will continue next week. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, let's have one last sound alert. We already had that one. But yeah, that is going to be it. So there's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day. And take care. Bye.